triumph was never in doubt. Victory is ours. Victory is ours. All is well that ends well. Well that ends well. Victory is ours. Well that ends well. Triumph was never in doubt. Victory is ours. Well that ends well. Victory is ours. All is well that ends well. Victory is ours. Our triumph was never in doubt. All is well that ends well. Victory is ours. Well that ends well.
temple on top of a mountain. What connection could a place like this? It certainly benefits from divine protection of some kind. Yggdrasil fell to earth not far from here, yet the temple buildings escaped entirely.
I know that face. That man is a knight of Heliodor. Heliodorian swine! You think that your blockade will break us? Think again. The disciples of Angrila are made of sterner stuff.
What in the... These movements must be intended to confound us.
Enough! All... Is this how we treat visitors? As your High Lama, I order you to stand down.
Your Holiness, these people are not visitors. They are soldiers of Heliodor.
Soldiers of Heliodor, you say? The tall one, perhaps, but his young friend does not... I sense a great power within you. Tell me, young man, are you the luminary?
Incredible. You divined your true identity with a single glance.
How long we have waited for this day. Please, you must forgive my disciples' discourtesy. Welcome to Angrila, honored luminary. It would please me if you would join me in the high hall at the top of the temple.
Strange child, but remarkably perceptive for one so young. Well, we have come this far. We might as well make our way to this high hall of theirs.
welcome you once again to Angri-La, honored luminary. As I believe you know, it is my privilege to serve as
I am to address you as Your Holiness, correct? Might I ask what you and your people know of my companion?
Why, everything, of course. We have awaited his coming ever since the day he entered this world, in the castle of Dundrasil.
Waiting for him? What do you...
I mean exactly what I say, nothing more. Tell me, do you recognize the symbol on this... It is the emblem of Dundrasil. Since the age of heroes, the princes of that nation have come here to Your young friend was born a prince of Dundrasil. Thus did we expect him to come here as a... Sadly, that...
So if fate had been kinder, you would have spent a good part of your childhood here. What of his tutor, this Grand Master Pang you speak?
When the Lord of Shadows brought the world tree low, the Master set out to summon a magical mandala to protect... The spell succeeded, but its power was too great. Grand Master Pang.
A noble sacrifice indeed.
Now that the Master is gone, it falls to me to guide you. Come to the field of discipline. It lies behind this...
It is a shame that the Grand Master cannot be here. I would have liked to meet one so noble. Come.
Beyond those doors lies the field of discipline, where students of Angri-La strive for... Before we tread upon this hallowed ground, let me tell you a little of our history. And of the luminary of legend himself, Erdwin. Before setting out to defeat the Dark One, Erdwin came to our temple to learn from the Wise Ones, who made their homes here. Even the first Grand Master, i.e., accepted him as a disciple, but he did not train alone. During his time here, he met someone.
Who was this person?
Another of Ai Yi's disciples, a young mage whose talent outshone that of all who had come before. A man, Erdwin and Morkant would train together every day, each striving to outstrip the other. Though they were fierce rivals, they became firm. When their training was complete, Morkant joined with Erdwin in his quest to slay the Dark One. Before setting out, they carved an inscription into this stone.
Morkant. I have not heard the name.
Now allow me to show you to the field of discipline. If you would... Welcome to the field of discipline. Since the age of heroes, many a would-be warrior. If your karma had been different, this is where you would have trained under Grand Mom. I have brought you here so that you might stand in the footsteps of your ancestors. Even your grandfather, Lord Robert, completed his training here.
His achievements?
Pang was a harsh master. With this implement, disciples whose efforts were lacking were given motivation. During the course of his 6 years of tuition, your grandfather's right honourable... The tale of Lord Robert's road to enlightenment lives on to this day. Every disciple knows...
A legendary achievement.
You are worried for your grandfather, yes? Do not be. Lord Robert overcame every challenge set for him by... The fall of the World Tree would not have been enough to extinguish one so resilient. He is alive. I sense it. Tonight there will be a modest feast in the High Hall to celebrate your long-awaited arrival. We would be greatly honoured. We may not be able to aid you as we would have done were Master Pang still with us, but in this respect at least...
Awake at last, It is high time we were on our way. If the Grand Master was still alive, perhaps we might have learned something to help us in our fight against the Lord of Shadows. Sadly, it was not to...
The hermit? What news of him?
Forgive us, Your Holiness. The monsters on the mountain path were too strong.
I see.
Your Holiness, is there...
Yes, Sir Hendrik. I fear there is. You see, 2 weeks ago, a hermit visited us.
Hello? Whatever
That I do not know. The moment he heard that Master Pang had passed away, he ran from the temple. The mountain has become infested with monsters, emboldened and strengthened by the rise of the Lord of Shadows. This being so, I dispatched a group of disciples to return him to safety. As you can see, things did not go.
I have trained all my life for a moment such as this, and yet I have failed.
Might we be able to offer some...
I thank you for your kindness, but you are guests here. I cannot argue.
A knight of Heliodor does not abandon... These people have shown us great kindness. It is only right that we do them a kindness in return.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, but I cannot allow you to bear this. We must depart for the summit of Mount Panglai without delay. After exiting the temple,
is well that ends well. But triumph was never in doubt. Victory is ours.
It seems we are too late. Is this the hermit we came in search of?
Unfortunately so. He was in deep meditation when he breathed his last. I am glad at least that he was... But that posture, it is awful. Uniquely awful.
Incredible! Issue 1 of the Ogler's Digest. And in mint condition.
Indeed. It seems our friend here made his peace with the world before departing. But this is one of the royal treasures of Dundrasil.
By the skies! Can it really be?
Lord Robert!
Your grandfather was Master Pang's most fervent disciple. Can he have chosen to follow his mentor?
No! He is still breathing.
What?
His spirit hovers in the place between life and death. It is only a matter of time before he passes the... But there may yet be a way to save him. If you were to follow him into the void, you might be able to bring him back.
But how? Is this even possible?
The ancient teachings tell us that the summit of Mount Panglai stands at the crossroads between this world. If you will permit me, I can perform an ancient rite that will send you to the place between worlds. But it is not a decision to be taken lightly. Once that place is entered, there is... Well, will you take that chance? Will you visit the void and bring Lord Robert back to us? Very well. I will prepare for the ritual. Tell me when you are ready, and we will begin. It is time to depart for the place to which every soul must go. But for...
What is this foolish dance?
Another wandering soul drifts into my domain. Destiny is cruel indeed to send me one so young. This may be a fruitless question, given the vacant expression you wear, but... Oh, you poor young fool. Let me unburden you of at least... I will explain in simple terms that even an idiot may understand. Before Yggdrasil fell, departed souls would come here before return. But now that the tree is gone, it is a place with an entrance but no... What I'm trying to tell you is that you will never leave this world. Before long, as long as the cycle of souls is interrupted, all who die will suffer the same. This is your destiny. Or do you cling to the vain hope that the heart of Yggdrasil may be recovered from Mordegon's? And yet, you would not be alone in your Some people just don't know when to give up. Did you think that he chose death out of a sense of despair? He came here with hope in his heart. The hope your grandfather came to find me so that I might teach him the last of my secrets. You know who I am, of course. Foolish child. I am Pang, Grand Master of Angry. Do you see the magic circle? The precise pattern of movements draws energy from the ether and channels it to create the mandala of Yggdrasil. He has been flailing away like this ever since he arrived here. But when the great sigil is complete, he will have mastery over a power not seen. Get out, mate! Don't you dare give up now! I'll beat your bottom black and blue! Would you look at that? Perhaps...
Hey! Did you see that? I finally did it! Oh, it was...
Yes. Very impressive.
Jinx! Grandmaster Pang! Woohoo! For the first time in my long life, she's...
Perhaps if you could stop congratulating yourself for one moment and squint beyond...
Oh my! Is it really you, laddie? Oh, not you as well. Your poor young life.
Oh, stop your sniveling.
He's what? But what's he doing?
He and his friends found your body and sent his soul from the world above to bring you back.
Ah, really? But I only came here to... Finer than ever, in fact. Now that I've learned the final secret, you and me are going to be unstoppable.
Stop right there! Where do you think you are...
I can't thank you enough for all you've done, Grandmaster. But now the...
Finished? Oh, but we haven't. Honored luminary, if you would like to follow me. Your grandfather has mastered the last secret of Angry-La. It is a technique first devised in the Age of Heroes by Morkant. For you, I have a technique no less impressive. An attack of... It was devised by Erdwin himself during his training with Yi, our first
Well, that can't be a bad thing. Me with Morkant's spell and you with
If you can master it, the training you must undergo to acquire this power will be more Well, do you think you have what it takes? I knew you would make the right choice. The first step is to focus your mental energies and call forth a blade of... As good as can be expected for a first attempt.
Battle? You mean you're going to fight him? Oh, no, the poor...
Me? Why would I rumple my nice clean robe when
What?
Who better, Lord Robert? You have, and besides, I've always wanted to see two princes of Dundras... Before we continue, allow me to give your grandfather an...
Oh, aye! I've not felt this alive in decades! Let me...
That's the spirit. Don't hold back. Show him the true power of our last and greatest secret.
Just you what?
Luminary, prepare yourself. The more you use it, the stronger it will become.
Here I come, laddie. It's time to show you what...
Another one. This... He is wise beyond... Do you... I will explain before... But now that the... What I'm... As long as... This... Or do you... okay? You know who... The precise... But when the great sigil... Get up!
Did you...
Shit.
Stop.
He's...
He and he...
finer than ever. I can't...
Finish. On... If you... Your grandfather has mastered the last... It is a technique first devised in the Age of Heroes by Morgan. For you, I have a technique no less It was devised by Erdwin himself during his training with Yi, our first...
Well, that can't be a bad thing.
If you can mark the train... Well... I knew you would make the right... The first step is to... As good as can be expected.
Battle? You...
Me? You and besides... Before we continue, allow me to give your grandfather an unfair...
Oh, aye! I've not felt this...
That's the spirit. Don't hold back. Show him...
Just...
Luminary, prepare yourself. Beat back the onslaught and unleash the technique if you can. The more you use it, the stronger it will become. You must practice.
Here I come, laddie. It's time to...
Another wandering soul. Destiny. This may be a fruit. Do you? I will explain before, but what I'm trying. As long as the sun. This? Or do you? And yet, you would not be alone in your foolishness. There are others who refuse to accept that all is lost. Some. Your grandfather came to find me so that I might teach him that... You know who I am, of course. Foolish child. The precise pattern of movements draws energy from the ether and channels it to create the mandala of Yggdrasil. This is the final secret. But when the great sigil is complete... Get out, knight! Don't you dare give up now! I'll beat your bottom black and blue!
Did you... Cheng. Oh my. Oh, no, you as well.
Oh, stop.
He's what?
He and he...
Oh, really? But I only came here to... Finer than...
Stop right there!
I can't thank...
On... If you... It is... for you. It was devised by Erdwin himself during his trip.
Well, that can't be a bad thing.
If you, the trip... Well... the first... As good... Bad? Me? Who bet? And besides... before we could... Oh, yes. Wonderful. I must say, I doubted you had it in you. But... the power of the technique comes from your heart. Hone that greatest of weapons, and none will be able to stand before you. Now, I think it's time we peeled that old degenerate off the flagstones.
You beat me, even with the last secret of Angry-La in my side. Oh, I can't believe how much you've grown, laddie.
You weren't too much of an embarrassment, no.
Oh!
So this is where you have been hiding.
Wait, I know that.
What again?
Sniveling worms. You thought to escape my clutches by cowering?
No! Curse you! I had thought your powers so inconsiderate. Fine. It seems we must do it the hard way. You two.
What? So the last secret of Angry-La wasn't the last one? And Quadra-Slash wasn't...
Of course not, foolish man. There is another. A supreme skill devised by Grandmaster. Well, don't just stand there. Combine your power so that I can die.
You dare to resist me?
You must do exactly as I say. Exactly when I say it. Robert, do not think. Act. Use the technique I taught to you. Now, Luminary! Unleash Quadra-Slash! Yes, the last and greatest of all the secrets of Angry-La. Solar Flare!
He is back with us. But he is greatly weakened. We must get him.
Ah. You are finally awake. Good. Lord Robert awoke a short while ago. He's outside speaking with the High Lama. We should join them.
there, laddie. Better late than never, eh? What are you staring at me like that for? Is this...
It is your physique, Lord Robert. You were a good deal...
Oh, that! Nothing a good breakfast couldn't cure. Aye, the Grand Master put me through...
Lord Robert has told me what came to pass in the void, that you met Grand Master Pang. I hear that you were even able to master the ultimate abilities of your ancestor Erdwin. You have my
And I hear that I owe you a debt of thanks, Sir Henrik, for looking after the boy here while it was a...
Please think nothing of it, my lord. It is the least I could do to make amends for all the...
Ach, don't torture yourself over it, son. We've all been pawns in Mordigan's game.
Thank you. Truly. What do you intend to do now? We had hoped to find guidance here in Angri-La.
Well, funnily enough, I was just thinking about something grand. She said old Erdwin used a very special form of transport when he went after the Dark One. Some sort of sacred flying contraption.
Whatever could that mean?
I didn't get the chance to ask her any more about it. But it sounds like just what we need to get up to that. As for our old friends, none of them were exactly the giving up type, eh? If I'm still alive and kicking, you can bet. So, what say we head over to Arborea and keep an eye out for our pals on the way? If this flying doodad's supposed to be sacred, the folks over there'll know something about it for sure. There's no time to lose. The longer we wait, the stronger...
Honored Luminary, we disciples of Angri-La will do all that we can to aid you in your preparations to take on the Lord of Shadows. We have even devised a special training regime for you. Visit us again soon.
Aye.